member of the Bicycle Club. The graph shows the relationship between her time in hours and distance in miles for the first 5 hours of a bike ride. Write a piecewise function to model this real-world situation. So I recommend having those notes that we took yesterday out so we can talk about our process, our steps. Give you a second to take those out. Who has my first step? What's my first train of thought going to be with how I approach this? Find points? What do you mean by that?
Like on the graph, X and Y.
So which piece do we want to look at first? Let's give it a number. We want to look at this one, this one, this one. This one? Okay, so let's label this one. So now we all know what we're talking about. So we do have some nice defined points here and here. What do we need to count first? Slope? Okay. So what's my slope for this first segment? Careful. Is this counting by 1? So the volt was 3 divided by 2, but I'm not sure about that 3. 30 divided by 2. Very good. 30 divided by 2. So let's just make sure we're all on the same page. We all can see this is counting by 10s. So it's not up 1, 2, 3. It's up 10, 20, 30. Our x values are counting by 1. So that 2 is just fine. So yes, our slope will be 15. M is 15. Great. Do I have a b value?
Yeah.
What is it? 0. Nice job. Is this a ray or a segment? And how much information you put here is really for you. It's not going to be the exact same for each of us, but I do want to see your organization of your thoughts, however you choose to do that. This is my recommendation. So I think we may be able to write our first piece, yes? It won't be d, it won't be f of x, it will be d of t. So tell me what to write for my first piece. Do we need the plus 0?
No.
It's not wrong to write it. If you would like to write plus 0, go ahead. But we can actually just say 15x.
0 is less than or equal to x per t. And then t is less than or equal to 2.
Very good. Because the domain for this first segment is from 0 to 2. Very nice. Let's work on piece 2. Thoughts on piece 2? How does she know it's constant?
Straight line.
Straight line. Well, this is a straight line.
No, but like it's a horizontal.
There we go. That's the key word. Horizontal line. So what do we know about the slope of horizontal lines?
0.
Good job. Can we reason on what the y-intercept would be for this horizontal line? 30. Segment or array? All right. Interesting. How am I going to write the equation for this piece? Do I have any variables? Any x values? No. Very good. Just 30. Well done. And then someone I have not heard from yet, what would the domain of this piece be? So right now we are looking at segment 2, from where to where on the x-axis? Taisha? Okay. Let's look at our third piece. Let's count our slope. M equals, is it 30 divided by 2 again? What do you think? So you'll see 10, 20, 30, right, 1, 2. Very good. Now, I still need a b value. Can we count, let's see, because we counted up 3, right 2, yes? So maybe this will work. Down 1, 2, 3, right 2. That didn't work. So what are we going to have to do? What skill did we remind ourselves of yesterday? Doesn't? What's that equation called? Point slope form. So for this third piece, we are going to have to use point slope form. What ordered pair are we going to choose to work with? 3, 30? Sure. What other ordered pair could we have worked with that would work just fine as well? 5, 60. So your choice is between 3, 30 and 5, 60. So consensus though is 3, 30. So let's do that. Using 3, 30, and we already calculated m is 15. Who can give me point slope form? Taisha? Nice job. Go ahead and solve for y. Let me know if we match. Awesome. Match. Good. Great job. So our third and final piece, 15x minus 15. From where to where? 3 to 5? Okay. Now there's one other little piece we do need to discuss here. These both can't equal 2. Did anybody pick up on that? So let me highlight what I'm talking about. Can't do that. Only one of them can equal 2. Same thing here. Can these both equal 3? No. So we don't have any assigned open circles, but we do need to handle it. So we kind of have a decision to make. Do we change this one or this one? In this case, it will be whichever one we want. Because when T is 2, right, you're going to be looking for which is the or equal to. What if they're both or equal to? So let's think common sense. As she's traveling, right, at 2 hours, are we saying that she's continuing on, or is she now stopping for a moment? So I would reason that it makes sense to make this one strictly less than. Did we follow that reasoning? Let me just say it one more time. She's traveling, yes? Traveling on her bike. At 2 hours, what does she do? She stops. So her stop begins at that 2 hour mark. And then she's going. At 3 hours, what does she start to do again? So what should we do with this inequality sign? Is this a greater than symbol? Strictly less. I think I know what you meant, but strictly less than. And then here we have our inequality. So now if you kind of let your eye travel through these restrictions, where one ends, the other picks up, where one ends, the other picks up, and now we have clarity with where our equality takes place. Very good. So let's now switch gears to the homework from last night. I had asked you to work on the other remaining 2 from the notes and the homework. So are we good for me just to put up the homework answers for you to check, or were there any that you would like to see done out? I need a vote. Yes. Number 2 on the homework or the notes? All right. Do I have... Just realized I didn't print that one. Right. Brief intermission. Start looking, so the question is on number 2 from the homework. So start comparing what you have with someone else for number 2. Yes. Okay, and we are back. So we wanted to do number 2. I hear a vote for 2 and 4. Is that good? 2 and 4. Okay. So let's look at number 2. So we'll look at piece 1 first. What are our thoughts on piece 1? What kind of piece is this? Increasing, decreasing? It is constant. And the order in which we discuss this information, maybe you thought of the constant piece second. There's nothing wrong with that. So I know it's constant. Where is it constant at? At what value? If I asked you to write the equation of this constant line, what would it be? Any questions on what I wrote so far? So that's our first piece. Y will always be 1 because we established what's the slope of a horizontal line? 0. So instead of writing y equals 1, I could have said b also. Because in fact, they both will be equal to 1. The y-intercept is 1, and my equation also comes out to be 1. Now, this function is from 1 from where to where for the domain values. Good job. Why are these both or equal to's? What do you see on each end? They're both closed. Very good. Piece 2. Piece 2. Question? Just going to move this up a little bit. All right. Piece 2. What do we know about piece 2? This is so the thought is that the slope is, what was it again? 2 divided by a negative 4. Do I have a decreasing line here? Check our counting. So if I start here, let's see, we count up 1, 2, right 1, 2, 3, 4. So for me that was up 2, right 4. But if I counted from here, check this out. This from here I would go where? Down to, watch that word over, left 1, 2, 3, 4. So down and left would be a negative divided by negative, which is still positive. So either way, do we agree on 1/2? However we got it. Okay, cool. Do I know my intercept, my b value? What's b? 4. Is this a segment or array? Segment? Fantastic. So what's my expression? What's my model going to be? From where to where? Good catch. Why do I not? I want to see if anybody's picked up on that. Why is there no equality here? Both answers are correct. One, this has already been accounted for. -4, the x value -4 has already been accounted for. And I clearly see an open circle right there. So this is strictly x greater than -4. Nice job. Piece 3. Piece 3. It is a constant. Let me just write that down. Constant. What is my y-intercept going to be? Yep, -4. Slope is 0. Is this a segment or array? It's array, and is it array left or right? Right. Ray right. So I know it's constant. My intercept is -4. My slope is 0. It is array right. Let's talk about what we'll put for our final piece. Yes? Great question. We are going to visually imagine that it does, because we need that y-intercept value to write the function. But once we restrict the possible x values, it will technically never cross. So remember, if I just showed you, well, this one does cross. Let's say, see this piece right here? Let's say it started here and kept going forever and ever, yes? So mentally delete this piece from your mind for a second, okay? If this was array in this direction, its equation would still be 1/2 x plus 4. But we are restricting the possible x values to start beyond that y-axis and keep going. So when we write the expression down here as part of our piecewise function, we have to respect what the original function would be without a restriction, and then we are stating, but this is the restriction on it. Follow? Good, great question. So what is the equation for this final piece? Now I know I have array, so it's not going to be x between two values like it was here. If it's array right, is that going to be x greater than or x less than? X greater than 4. And we're done. Yes?
And like in piecewise functions, would you ever see like x equals 0?
In piecewise functions, would we ever see x equals 0? Are you saying x as a function here?
No, like x
over here. We could. Anything is possible. That would be an ordered pair, right? So let's say I had 6, comma, x equals 0. What ordered pair would that be? 0, comma 6. And it would just be a solid point at that ordered pair. Good question. Okay, the other vote was for number 4. Okay, let's work on number 4. Olivia, did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Piece 1. Ray or a segment? Ray. So keep that in mind. We don't have to write it first. I'm just asking. What did you guys do first? Tell me what you wrote first. Slope, okay. So m equals, let's see, down 2, left 1, 2, 3. So that would be a -2 divided by a -3, which equals +2/3. Great. Y-intercept? 2. Nice. And we already established it is a ray. What direction? Ray left. Nice. What do we say? Now, ray left, is that going to be x greater than or x less than? Very good. X less than or equal to? Ooh. Think domain. What's the domain of this piece? 0. Very good. X less than or equal to 0. Now, we don't have any real world scenario here to assign values. So as we make our way through, we will allow the equality to be with this piece, which means on this next piece, will we have an equal to 0? No. So just keep that in mind. That being said, let's move on to piece 2. Slope for piece 2. Let's see. Down 1, 2, right 1, 2. So down 2 would be positive or negative. Negative. Right 2 would be positive or negative. Positive equals negative 1. Very good. Intercepts. Still 2. Ray or segment? Mm-hmm. Who's got the expression? Between where and where? Good. Last piece. Mm-hmm. I hear 1 vote for 5 halves as the slope. Did anybody else get 5 halves? Let's see. When in doubt, what could you technically do with these 2 points? Calculate the slope. So see how we have no grid? It's not a bad idea to go double check, but we'll see if we can reason this out, right? So this would be down 5. Now, it's kind of making me a little, not sure about that. This is not really counting exact, yes? So let's calculate slope real quick. She could be right. She might be right, but let's just double check. How would I calculate slope with these 2 points? Before I can use point slope form, I would need a slope to work with. Back up 1 sec. Yes, Jasmine. Yes, so what would y2 minus y1 be? Yep. Good. Okay, so what do we get from that math? I'm listening. I'm just moving this over. Which is 5 halves. Awesome. Okay, that is firmly established. When in doubt, check. So I know I'm at 5 halves now, 5 divided by 2. What do we not know? Yeah, we have no idea about the y-intercept. But what awesome little tool do we have in our toolbox? Point slope form. What point would you like to use? Do you want to use 5, 4, or 3 comma negative 1? Okay. So using 5, 4, and m equals 5 halves, let's work on point slope form. What's point slope form again? Good. Just going to work this through, and then we'll see if we match. So that would become y minus 4 equals 5 halves, x minus 5. Did you guys change this to a decimal?
No.
No, you left it? So then how would I choose to write, that's fine if we want to work with it as a fraction. How should we write -4? So we have a common denominator. -4 divided by 1 is equivalent to what divided by 2? So if we're going to work in halves, then to be able to add that over in a second, we are going to have common denominators. So now we can add 8 halves to both sides. No, I had asked if people had chosen to work with a fraction or the decimal, and people said no. So I'm just showing how you could technically keep this fraction all the way through as long as we have common denominators. -25 plus 8? And we're done. What would, for people who worked with a decimal, what would that be as a decimal? Right, so I would fully accept that as well. 5 halves x minus 8.5. So let's come up here, let's add our final piece, 5 halves x minus 17 halves, or 8.5, depending on what you chose. Was that a ray or a segment? Segment. Segment between what and what?
3 and 5.
3 and 5. And I just have to be careful. Should I have a line under this one? No. And we're done. Feeling pretty good? Take a second, check your answers for 1 and 3 with who's next to you, and if you disagree, let me know. I would like us to move into our little practice workshop that's going to practice evaluating, graphing, and writing. So the skills from the last 3 days, all in one practice. Right? And then I also come around to board check homework. So leave the homework out until I have a chance to check it. But while I do that, I would like you to be able to start. Yes. No worries. I'll take the credit for the homework. Mm-hmm.
What did you get for number 1 on the homework? I got,
I do not. That's a good question.
I was wondering about the first question because we all got different answers.
On the homework? So for people who would like to check for number 1, here's 1, and then let me know. I'll scroll down for 3. Let me know when I can scroll down for 3. Good? Who's ready for 3? Who needs a little more time? Okay, I'll leave it up for a sec. These are the homework. So we did 2 and 4. People are checking answers right now for 1 and 3. Ready for 3?
I just got a negative. No, wait, I could get 1.5.
Great. Go ahead and start. You need help, let me know. Right? Homework. Good. Homework. Good, good, good. You all set to start? Right. Ladies, we're good to start?
I have a question. Oh, I showed you.
Yes, you did. Good. You have another night? Good. Yes.
So for these,
So that goes back to evaluating. Don't overthink it.
but I know we're supposed to plug it in, but like to each one, and then.
Well, where does 4 fall in those restrictions?
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Okay, yeah.
Say that one more time. Today I'm heading out right after, but I will be after Monday for a full hour. Okay? How did you do on homework? The homework from last night? Great. Good? Awesome. Yes. Yay. Thank you. Ashley, homework from last night? Good. Homework from last night? Can you work on 3 right now? Right. And then when you're ready, the answer's on the board. Yes. Yes. Whoever I could see out, I was able to check. So consider this very good work time. Whatever is left over is homework. So the more you get done now, the less you have for homework. Yes. We've had like a solid 20 minutes for class, so you should be able to get at least half of it done.
So basically, this is just homework time.
Because we've learned a new skill for 3 days, and now I want to give you some time to practice. Yes. Question? No, okay. Any questions, let me know. Nice job today. Yes. So like F of 4 for number 1, think back to our evaluating skills. You have to ask yourself, which restriction does that fall into? What would you say? Which one, the first or the second? So then calculate 2/5 times 4. Good question. Because I'm decreasing. So what 2 points are you working from? Like where are we going to start? Because if I start from right here, right? Can I see your pencil? So if I start, right? Up, 1, 2. So when in doubt, use your arrows. Up, 2. 1, 2. Right 1. So it'd be a positive 2 divided by a negative 1. Or 3, depending on how we count. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. I think we're going up 2, right 1. All right? Good questions.
I have a question. So if it's like simple calculator math like this, do we have to show work?
At least off to the side, show me 2/5 times 4,
Okay.
so I know where your answer came from. All right, folks, video will be up later today. Happy Friday. Remind me any questions you've got.